I post a lot on Facebook. I don't like Facebook. I hate Facebook. I think it is it's essentially a two-dimensional police station. It even looks like a police station. But that's exactly what it is. It's a police station for everybody and all your accomplices to be all in one nice and tidy place should they ever need to find who you are for whatever reason that they decide. And this might be one of them. I just got a ticket a couple of days ago, last week. Failed to display driver credential. Did he even spell the whole word? I don't know. They don't know how to talk. I essentially got a ticket for $138 for not identifying myself to a little man in a white shirt and a badge. He wasn't even a real cop. Just some transportation piglet walking around downtown Austin and shaking down cab drivers and demanding identification. And of course I didn't give it to him because who are you? Who are you? Why do I have to give you my... Why don't you show me your ID? In fact, why don't you go jump off a bridge? That's what I want you to do. I want you to go jump off a bridge. I walk up to you and I say, you need to go come with me and jump off a bridge. Don't you see a little shiny piece of metal on my shirt? I think you need to come with me and jump off a bridge. No, he wouldn't do it. He probably would do it if I had a big enough badge and a long enough stick. Right? So that's a fascist state we're living in, okay? You think we live in a free country? Well, you're wrong. It's not free. Anybody who thinks it's free is a moron. Is a moron. Nothing short of a moron. And you're not going to make it. This message is not for the morons. This message is for the people who are standing over the dead bodies of the morons, okay? I don't like the word morons. It implies superiority. It implies it's kind of a self-important word. And there's too much of that in this culture as it is. But for lack of a better word, this message is not for you. It's for the people who are standing over your dead body. For you, and you who know what's going on, and you know that that ticket is a slap in the face of everything that has ever existed in a free country. It's proof positive, right there in black and white, the fascist police state that we live in. Just like the war on drugs. The war on drugs. Where do you think that that's really a war on drugs? If it's a war on drugs, then why has the drug problem not diminished? Well, you know, for one thing, it's not a problem. Two, it wasn't intended to diminish the drug usage in this country. It was intended to increase the prison population and decrease personal freedoms of everybody, including the cops who foolishly enforce the fascist laws. We are entering an age that is going to make what World War II was with the Nazis look like a quaint, enjoyable dance in the park with your wife, husband, greatest lover of all time. The difference is that there aren't going to be any national superpowers coming to save you. If you were a Jew in Nazi Germany and you managed to get out, maybe you got out you got away from the first wave or whatever, and you got to hide a little bit. Well, you know, the Americans were coming, the British were coming, the Russians even, they were coming. Everybody was coming for the Germans, and the Germans, of course, ended up succumbing to what was a greater military power. What we have now with globalism is one world power, and there is no way that you are going to just get out of it by waiting it out. There is not going to be a period of indifference. You're not going to just be able to sit back, however uncomfortable you might be, and however little you may be eating, and however many loved ones you may watch die, and how many personal possessions you may have to pawn off or burn or watch destroyed and abandon, and all the things that you think are important in this the last days of civilization as we know it. There isn't going to be any, because there are no nations anymore. They want to tell you that's a good thing, but it's not a good thing because, well, you figure it out. Right? I don't have time for that. What we need to, I don't know who said it. I heard it was attributed to a Native American tribe. Which one? Probably all of them. And that's us. now. I don't care if you're living in Germany right now, alright? It's all of us. Anybody who's against the globalists, anybody, I don't care where you're from, I don't care if you're in Pakistan, I don't care if you're in Bangladesh, or if you're in Laos, or if you're in you know, in Temecula. if you don't adopt a fearless attitude, you, that's first, you first, and then the rest of us aren't going to make it, alright? They used to say that today was a good day to die. They weren't afraid to die. They realized that any moment that they had could be their last, that every drink of warm, you know, room temperature water was a gracious gift of God, a blessing that they should be grateful for, that they everything that you have here is a luxury. Everything that you see is a luxury. Your sexual orientation is a luxury item. Your job is a luxury item. Your shower is a luxury item. Plumbing is a luxury item. You don't need plumbing. People lived without plumbing for thousands of years. People lived without everything that you have for thousands of years. And in fact, everything that you have is some form of shackle, and it's holding you down from being brave enough and having courage enough to stand up and say, today is a good day to die. Now you're afraid to die because you're afraid of losing everything that you have. Well, you know what? Not only do you not own it, but you're going to lose it regardless of whether or not you're afraid to lose it. So you might as well not be afraid to lose it. You might as well appreciate it as the luxury item that it is, whatever it might be, as though it will be the last time you ever partake of it, whatever it might be. And if you aren't grateful to God for it, which you don't have to be, but I recommend, well then you should, well, you should be. And I am saying should be. People say, well, you know, it's a conspiracy theory. You know, you're not telling me why, you know, 9/11 was an inside job, for example. Always gets the trolls excited on the internet, and they can't bear to, you know, oh, you know, and they always, or the UN is a, they always, you know, people that are getting paid by the UN tend to think the UN is a benevolent organization. The purpose of the lie is not to, the purpose of the lie is to keep you asleep. It doesn't matter if the lie never comes true. It doesn't matter if the lie becomes outdated and outmoded. The purpose of the lie is to keep you strung along, silently going along with the crowd until the next lie comes along. And you can forget about the last lie because the next lie is always worse, it's always bigger, the stakes are always higher. And as long as you keep your eyes and ears and mind shut until it's time for the next lie, the first lie will have served its purpose. So you believe that everything is going to be just dandy, and that your iPhone, and that your girlfriend, and that your boyfriend, and your transmission, and your electronics, and all the important files on your computer, whether they're your great novel, or your next record, or you know, the schematics for some unbelievable invention that you are too much of a genius to be able to explain without using 15 different languages at once. It's gonna be gone. It doesn't matter. So there's no point in arguing or debating about what is the truth. It doesn't matter what is. It matters what is the truth, but it doesn't matter between you and me what is the truth. It doesn't matter if you agree with me. I don't need you to agree with me. You don't need me to agree with you. I don't need your approval. We just need to realize that we are being lied to. If we don't wake up to this lie, which we won't, we're doomed. Okay? I, for one, don't want to go down with the ship, and so I don't see anybody else who is interested. Everybody's just kind of sniggering and laughing and acting smug and snide. It's called the normalcy bias. Things are never going to change. Things are always going to stay the same. It's a normalcy bias. There were two kinds of Jews in Nazi Germany: the kind that got out and went to America, and the kind that stayed behind, couldn't believe their eyes, clung to the family possessions, clung to the house, clung to the old way of life, and they ended up getting gassed to death and burned alive, or whatever that happened, you know, among other things, all of them bad. And that kind of thing is coming again in spades. So what's the purpose of me saying all this? I don't know. I don't know. And you don't have to listen to it, and so don't.